Basically, this guy got activated, I guess, or he got inspired because of Iran, and he went on a shooting rampage in my hometown. Like, I've been to the place that he shot people at. I'm not going to watch the video for this, obviously. We can listen to the audio.
Oh, God. Oh.
That's insane.
Oh, my God. What is going on?
What the fuck is going on?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Wow.
What the fuck?
There it is. Did they kill him? I don't think so, but I'm not sure. Another third worlder imported into America to cause problems. This never should have happened. You never should have been in America. This is the main issue, is that we keep importing these people and we assume that everything is going to be fine. It's not. This is the biggest unforced error that Western countries are making right now. You need to stop importing people from these countries that are PvP servers. You need to stop importing people from cultures that are completely oppositional to Western culture. This is a huge mistake. It's not going to help anyone. And of course there should be exceptions, but this should be the rule. And this is not the rule, and it keeps happening.
I have some breaking news. I want to bring this in now. I've been telling everybody about the Austin mass shooter, and now we have a picture.
This is
what we're finding out per multiple federal law enforcement sources to our own Bill Malhusian. The Austin mass shooter is a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen who was born in Senegal and was living in Pflugerville, Texas. Material
should have never been here. Should have never been in the country.
Recovered from his person and inside the vehicle give possible indications of a nexus to terrorism, as the FBI announced earlier today. And remember,
underneath the hoodie, hey, he had a shirt that had like something about Iran on it.
He said he had in his possession and was also wearing. The shooter was wearing clothing that said Allah on it. His sweater said property of Allah. And
we can't know what his motivations are. Nobody knows.
It's also known to be an undershirt with an Iranian flag and other materials inside. And remember what Representative Michael McCall of Texas just told me last hour. He said, Harris, in my own backyard, just last night, we had an event that possibly could have been terror-inspired right here in Austin, Texas. This is what he was talking about. Brett, I was reminding Americans, this is not a new place for us to be in terms of keeping our heads on a swivel. But it bears repeating, we've lost Americans in the fight on the battlefield, and protecting the homeland now is also something that we must be on the alert. Now, authorities have not tied this.
As I said, I think this is the best evidence that it was the right decision to go after them. If the moment that going after them is going to activate people here in America that want to go out on shooting rampages indiscriminately to kill civilians in order to, punish America for taking out their perceived leader, yeah, absolutely, this was the right call. 100%. Does this make people more xenophobic? Yeah, I think it does. And I think that this is like another one of those instances where, people see a person doing this. Like, this is like it's like almost false flag level, like caricaturization, where like you have this guy that is a foreign born national who's, come to America under Obama, and he's wearing a t-shirt that says property of Allah. Like, you can't have a better advertisement for xenophobia than this.
Austin situation to what's happening in the Middle East as terror related to that, but they are investigating it just moments ago, confirming as a possible terror attack. Your reaction?
Yep. You really believe this isn't a false flag? Well, no, I don't think it's a false flag. I mean, there's no evidence that says that it's a false flag. Like, why would I draw that kind of a conclusion with no evidence?
Well, we have to remain vigilant. I mean, Khamenei, he was a religious figure. We don't know if this attack was associated, but it very well may be. But the fact is, this isn't a representation of how most people from that region feel. The Iranian people, they fear their own rulers more than our own military. They hate, their own oppressive rulers than anyone else. And we may see more attacks like this. We have to be vigilant. There are proxy groups everywhere that are looking for ways to harm Americans and hurt Americans. And but the fact of the matter is, overall, there are images right now showing most Iranians and most Shias celebrating today, not because of war, but because they hate their own rulers more than anyone anyone else. That's
Smart.
a sign that we're striking.
I told you they're smart.
Not just at their military, we're striking at the legitimacy of a brutal regime. The Iranian people want better relationships with the West. They have the potential to be our biggest ally. I think it's important we collectively separate the terrorist regime from that of the majority Iranian people. These people have spent decades, trying to hurt us. And so the fact is, again,
I don't think this person was like organized with Iran. I think that, like, I mean, almost everybody, like, if you look at this guy. This guy looks like a brain dead retard. He does. Look at his face, like, just his eyes, his face. This guy looks like a nutball. Like, if he walked in anywhere, you would be like, ah, shit, there's going to be something wrong. So the problem is that when you see somebody like this, like, yeah, it's fucking shut. Exactly. The fact is that, like, really, I mean, I don't know how anybody would perceive it any other way than that.
Need to remain vigilant in the wake of these strikes.
Look, like, this person's clearly not like a representative of this, but I think that there does need to be a hard conversation that has to be had about bringing people from these developing and PvP server countries into America, and, like, where really is the upside there? Like, where's the upside for the American people that we're bringing in people from African PvP servers that in a lot of these cases don't really contribute to America in any sort of a meaningful way?
I don't want to make too much out of this because the FBI and federal authorities have to do their jobs and tell us what the facts are with this particular case. But you are looking at on your screen right now the man that they suspect to be the Austin, Texas shooter. And he is 53 years old. And I don't know if you had seen this as well. There were all sorts of descriptions about age, but now we know some specificity. He's 53-year-old American citizen, naturalized, originally from Senegal. He is wearing a sweater. And you can see here a sweater that says property of Allah
transfers
with an undershirt in the Iranian flag. I want to ask you about this. We had a tremendous amount
and I think most of the people that go out and do this stuff are actually crazy. Like, that's very important to keep in mind. Like, whether it's like a trans shooter, a Republican shooter, or like a Muslim shooter, it doesn't really matter. Like, anybody, like, you look at this person, does this look like a person of sound mind? Of course not. Absolutely not. So really, whenever you see a person like that crashing out, you shouldn't really look at it and think to yourself, oh my God, this is like an indication of, how bad something is. No, this is just a nutball. This is somebody that never should have been let out of their cage. This is somebody who should have been in a fucking mental institution for their entire life.
People come across the border.
The moment that you let these people out, they cause problems.
And I can't ignore this because this is just fact, Brett. There are a lot of people in this country, we don't know if they're being
politics
radicalized.
Is not the main
Maybe
factor.
some came in
crazy.
and they participated in that or led the way or have become something different while they're here. But it matters letting millions of people come in and you have no way to vet them. And
well, there's no reason to let anybody come into the country if there's even a 1% risk that they're going to act like this. It's an unforced error and America doesn't need them.
Happened under the Biden administration. We're catching up, but a lot of those people are still here. Your thoughts?
Well, with that, as well as what's going on overseas, there's been a seismic shift in global security, right? That regime over there in Iran is
left cry false flag. They say that in order to delegitimize criticism against them. And again, like, this is it's a cult of mental illness that continuously just reaffirms a lie over and over. That's all they are.
Fragile. After decades of corruption, that border for years was a perfect place for the Iranian regime to send some of their proxy groups undetected. I don't know if you remember years ago, we almost had an attack in D.C. where Iranians were sent in to try and kill the Saudi ambassador at the time. There are humans out there that want to hurt us. And right now there is a complete structural shock to the Iranian regime and their way of life. Their internal system is highly centralized around this supreme leader, and that religious leader is gone. I think that was one of the reasons that President Trump initially had maybe held off the Israelis striking Khamenei because he was such a religious figure. But that's changed now. We've removed that node, and it's created this uncertainty inside the clerical establishment across the proxy networks globally, and we need to just pay attention for more attacks like this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like,
Velikovich, thank you.
And I think also this guy was crashing out on X. I saw some posts about him, and he was saying crazy stuff on X too. So we should have been on top of this before it even happened. Let me link it to you guys. And just a second. You don't draw a conclusion, no evidence. News to me. What conclusion am I drawing with no evidence? So you said it was a Trump W, 3 dead. Okay, so you disagree. You've come into chat and you've been arguing for 15 minutes, 20 minutes now. You've been fighting about this. So fuck this. I'm out. Enjoy your takes. You're just a mouthpiece lately. Well, are you out because of that, or are you out because you can't verbalize a single problem that you have? Like, I'll give you a chance to express your distrust or your distaste with what I'm saying, but like, where is it? A mouthpiece for what? What am I saying that's problematic that you disagree with? Like, is there any sort of like actual any argument at all? They never articulate an argument. Don't you find that to be a coincidence that these people never really seem to articulate an argument? I wonder why that is. And again, this is one of the only people that I feel like is in Congress that's talking about this in a legitimate way. You can thank decades of contemptible, elitist policymakers who cheered on mass immigration in the name of diversity, multiculturalism, and cheap labor and political correctness. And now their children and grandchildren will live in a country that's unrecognizable and far off. How does immigration from Senegal or anywhere in the Islamic world benefit Americans? It doesn't. It brings terrorism and social dysfunction into our own communities while fundamentally altering America's cultural fabric. There you go. And so Islamic terrorism in America solely because of immigration, it was a policy choice to import it. There's no reason that we should be taking anybody from Senegal like this in there. And so just say no more immigration, it's cleaner. I mean, in some cases, that's probably true. This is only the beginning. Yeah, exactly.